Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is Bounding. No, it's not Bounding into Comics. I was just looking at Bounding into Comics.
What?
This is Comics News Today
Oh, wait, you're gonna
for
steal the
the
thunder. What are you doing,
10th
Chester?
of February. I do apologize.
We're
My
not
brain
bounding
was
into
somewhere
comics.
else.
We have integrity.
We do have
Uh,
integrity. I like Bounding into Comics. I do
no, about
apologize for
it.
that.
They do fine. They do fine. Just
They do fine.
spelling errors every now and then.
Um, but
It's a little
anyway,
silly.
thank you for being here, guys. Thank you also to Booster for coming in and being so willing and happy and excited to correct me. Thank you.
I love it. I love correcting people. It makes me feel superior
It does, yeah, it does, yeah, and
for
that
just
makes
a
up
little
for the
while.
depression from the rest of the time. Yeah,
Yeah, the
Yeah, we
suicidal
understand. You're
tendencies.
pretentious. We
Yeah,
get it.
my daddy issues. Oof, oh, Jimmy, you do not want to be calling other people pretentious, all right? You can piss off with that.
I embrace my pretension,
Oh,
my
There
hyperpretension.
you go. You say shit like that. You
all
don't
right,
get
this is
to
how the
call
show
other
starts
people
today.
pretentious.
But nevertheless, thank you guys for being here. Do check out our links down below as usual. Fanspeak over on Facebook, of course, is doing really well. We're having fun there, so go check that out. Also, definitely hit that share button and let your family and friends and extended community know what's going on, so they come join us live. I mean, we are live streamers after all, and that would be most appreciated. Of course, also hit those sub buttons and like buttons and bell buttons and other buttons because that helps us to grow. So we appreciate that as
Button,
well. But,
button. Where's the button?
lots of buttons, and of course, you guys see, we have Booster, but we also have Slick Jimmy with us. How you doing, Slick?
What's up?
Oh my
Keep
god!
on.
Was that's very dated. Oh my god.
I know,
I was,
completely.
you want to know how dated that is?
Where's the beef?
I was 8 years old when that was a thing.
Was it?
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
the
are good.
was that. Oh no.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
thank you guys. So let me go over here and see who's in the chat. Well, we got a few people, and they'll start straggling in. Of course, we got Roger Heller as usual. He says, "Right on, starting this week right with comics and chocolate and some snoo. I don't know what that means.
Snoo snoo?
Is he, I
Snoo
think he's
snoo?
saying
Is he
snoo snoo.
He's getting snoo snoo.
I don't know
Is
what
he
That's
that
getting
good
means.
for you,
snoo
man.
snoo? My man.
What is the snoo
Thundaro,
snoo?
baby. What's up?
Oh no, that's not a
You
proper
seen
introduction.
Futurama?
No, I've never seen Futurama. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, snoo snoo. The giant Amazonian women. That's their name for the Nookie.
Oh,
They did it off of the
like
snoo snoo.
Zug Zug. I see.
Yeah,
They,
Zug like
they,
Zug
like,
Zug
they pretty much
from
brutalize
Caveman.
you.
Caveman,
They
of course, with
destroy your
There's a
pelvis in the
deep
process,
cut
but,
reference right
that's
there,
a
man.
deep cut, baby. And of course, who was the
Zug
absolute
Zug Lana.
star of that movie? Who was it? Ringo Starr.
John Matuzak.
No, Ringo
I think
Starr,
John.
man.
I know. I'm just saying.
Such a weird movie.
Dennis Quaid.
It's
Shelley
fun
Long?
though. That was a fun flick. But of course, we do have joining us from on his mountaintop of lightning and thunder and smelling of sulfur. We have the man, the myth,
Sulfur no
nay,
zone.
the legend, Thundero.
Why do I smell like sulfur? Wait a minute. How did you know that I smell like sulfur? How can you smell me, you bare bastard?
You see, I'm kind of.
Wouldn't he smell like ozone?
A side. I'm making a side reference there because one of the things to report into a follow up on our coronavirus conversation yesterday, which was a pretty good show, is the fact that there's new reports coming out of China that the sulfur emissions coming out of the Hubei are at such a level that they're now being detected as an incredible increase. And of course, the reason why sulfur increase would be happening is because you get that from burning bodies.
Let's all burn
and
our
not
bodies.
1,000 of them, thousands.
Let's all burn our bodies.
Yes. And of course, the reason why I made reference to Thundera this way is because he sits on top of his mountain and absolutely fries all those who are unworthy. Therefore, he's surrounded by death and dead bodies. Therefore, sulfur.
I mean, yeah.
He's Thundaro, not Crom.
I had to explain that.
Crom is nothing.
Crom is nothing. That is true. That is true.
I told you.
Yeah. But isn't that crazy, though? Isn't that crazy? That the sulfur levels have risen so high that it's actually being detectable. That is shocking, dude.
They have not had sulfur levels like that since Nazi Germany and Poland.
Oh. More oven references. But yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Another aside with the kind of follow up to the coronavirus. One of the things I've been saying here for years in Japan with my because on Wednesday nights I run a couple of adult classes, and there's a whole bunch of adults from Psyche
Yeah,
City in
baby,
it.
adult. Bow, chicka,
Well,
bow, bow.
not that kind of adult, but we have political conversations and stuff from time to time, of course. And the Japanese are concerned that the Chinese are going to be the next great global economy, and what does that mean for Japan? And of course, well, if that were to be true, that would be great for Japan because the Chinese, even though they talk about how much they hate Japan, they constantly buy Japanese stuff. Why? Because Chinese stuff sucks, right? But that's not even the truth. I've been telling for years, China is a paper tiger. There is no real economy there. That is completely propped up upon an abyss. There's nothing
Yes.
below it. And of course, we have 1 month of this virus actually being, causing actual problems. Since the Chinese government has admitted it, and since they've been shutting down businesses and factories, that period is about 4 weeks or so. And of course, their economy is days away from utter collapse. It shows they
China,
can't even
Wow.
sustain themselves for a month, a single month.
yes.
You
China's
guys seen
quote
their ghost
unquote
cities?
China's quote unquote prosperity is literally just take the wealth of the West from 50 years ago,
Hmm.
suck off 25% of it, and actually use it in a nationalistic way.
Yeah,
And that's where you get China. If
yeah,
we
well,
had been
yeah,
doing some of this, not all this stuff, but some of the economic stuff China has done to protect their interests here, we would be at least 25% wealthier. But can't do that because,
yeah.
globalism and
Well,
blah, 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 blah.
and
Clinton.
one of the things they do, and of
Yes.
course Japan does this, and America did this, particularly under Obama, is just printing money, right? Printing money.
Yes.
Yeah.
But printing money only helps so far. It creates its own problems. And of course, the reason why Japan and America can kind of get away with it is because they actually have a solid foundation, infrastructure below them. Right? China has none of this, right? But here's the worst update. Now, this is just 1 day away, right? 1 day from yesterday. This is all new information, right? Um, now, a lot of people, when you think of China, you think of Beijing, you think of Shanghai, right?
Mhm.
And of course, these are old names that have been around a long time, and this is a lot of the Western understanding of China. But these cities aren't the big, bad, awesome cities in China. Actually, the big, awesome, their New York is actually Shenzhen, right?
Yeah.
It is this major powerhouse, economic powerhouse. Well, I have news for you. Shenzhen has been locked down.
Oh boy.
That is serious news. And keep in mind, that is way outside the Hubei circle, which they walled in, by the way. But they have locked down Shenzhen, dude. I mean, they haven't locked down Shanghai or Beijing, even though there's lots of cases in those cities, but they've locked down Shenzhen. That is equivalent to London, Paris, New York being shut down. That's what that is, right?
Oh, that'd be a
And
shame. Oh, sorry.
well, I'm just saying that is serious. Today there was a lot of big news came out about what's going on in China. Their economy is faltering. The of course the communist government is trying to make decisions. They're thinking about reopening the factories and reopening everything, even though their virologists are telling them that would be absolute suicide to do that. But they're under such economic pressure that they're actually looking into literally thinking about doing it. So it's just showing you the absolute fragility of China. They can't even sustain for a month without just being literally on the edge of collapse. They're 33% of their economy or so, maybe a little higher, maybe upward. I would just kind of go in third, but maybe it's more like 40%, is based upon small business because they do encourage capitalism in that way. But those things are all basically just wrecked, wiped out because there's no resources, there's no fuel, there's no access to anything, right? So you're looking at 40% of the economy in China was wiped out in a simple month, 1 month, dude. I mean, come on. I mean, America, many Western countries, they could go a good year or more under those kind of circumstances without seeing real fluttering. And it's just shocking to me. And we're not talking about just cities of dead people. That would be a different conversation. We're talking about economic issues here. And
It's
it just shows you how fragile China is. It's ridiculous. The news coming out of China today is really radical.
well, two other things is I shared it in our FanSpeak Discord, and it was just a screenshot of allegedly, I don't know if it's true or not, the Chinese ambassador to the U.S. basically admitted that the coronavirus that is outbreaking right now was from a biological warfare program.
He didn't. That's fake
Uh,
news. No,
is that fake news? Okay.
I saw that interview actually, and I saw it in and it's with its own news reporters in its original language. But he's the ambassador. He
Gotcha.
was speaking English, but the problem is he's a very poor English speaker. Slick and I were having this conversation earlier. You would think that China would consider the ambassador to America to be, an important position. But basically, when he was asked this question directly from a reporter on Face the Nation, he says his answer. She says, "Is this a biological weapon?" And of course, the evidence for this is mounting. Do keep in mind that the man who is in charge of the Canadian Virology Laboratory, where all of this nonsense sounds like it started, he died mysteriously in Africa, by the way, just yesterday. Yeah.
It's a mystery.
Someone's tying up loose ends, it looks like, right? But anyway, he
Wait, what's
came when
happening with
she
Hong
asked
Kong?
I have
him.
a question.
Yeah,
In
well,
other
let me
big
just finish
cities,
what he said
I'm
real
sorry.
quick, and then you can ask it. She asked him directly, "Is this a biological weapon?" It was a very direct question. He says, "That's true. That there are many troubles with this virus, and of course, spreading of rumors is very bad." He didn't say, "Yes, that's true." He just didn't use his English properly. He started out
Mhm.
with "That's true," and then, of course, twisted it. He did what all politicians do. He didn't answer the question actually. But
Hmm.
this has caused a lot of people across the West to take it quite literally. It's kind of like with Trump, and he says, "Yeah, that picture's photoshopped." He didn't mean it was actually photoshopped. He means someone manipulated it, right? But yet they take him literally. Oh no, it's not. Wasn't Photoshop. It was actually done in this program. You dumbasses.
The other two things I was going to say is China has been disinfecting Wuhan too to try and cover up the
Oh my
sulfur
God,
emissions.
yeah, dude. Yeah, they
And
have.
also, if China's economy is completely and entirely devoted to America basically just giving them money with the trade deals that are lopsided.
Mhm.
Trump's been hammering them for his whole administration and murdering their economy, which they've been cheating and saying isn't getting murdered. But if you look at any actual data, it is. He's beating the crap out of them in the trade war, which of course he was going to. And China needs the West far more than the West needs China. And this, if this continues and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, eventually someone in the West is going to be like, we got to close our border or else this stuff's going to get in here. And it's already happened with Russia. They've closed down their land border with China.
America's done it too.
Yeah, we've stopped a lot of imports from China, especially from that area. And they're in serious trouble if they don't get a handle on this. And I don't even know if there is a way to get a handle on it because that thing
I
is ravaging
I don't
where it
think
is.
so. Because we didn't even know there was infection in Shenzhen at all, and
Yeah.
because I live here in Asia, so we know that Shenzhen's the actual power of China. We live here, and that came out of nowhere. Another really bad bit of information, which then I'll go over to let Slick say what he wants to say, is Hong Kong's gone red, man.
Yeah.
It's really sad. Yeah, it's gone completely red. And damn it, I'm just so depressed by it. I don't know what to say because I think they're going to have to shut down Hong Kong completely now. It's really
Probably.
unfortunate.
Hmm.
But anyways, like, go
That's
ahead.
well, I mean, if Shenzhen, which is right outside of Hong Kong, is infected, Hong Kong might be infected
It
as
is.
well.
It is. Yeah.
And then so you got other big cities like Guangzhou and Chongqing and excuse me. How are they faring? Do you have any information about that? I mean, has it
Those
spread
are
outside
more
of this?
slave centers. Those are more factory towns that have a lot of the Uyghur and other people they just enslave and put them in those cities. So those cities' populations are huge, but they're basically slave cities. So it's a bit misleading. as far as the power of them. And we have no information at all coming out of them. But that doesn't surprise me because they are, in essence, slave cities. They are monitor and lock down any kind of social media in those places automatically. The actual free citizens of China, if you can call them that, they do have freedom to make mistakes and thus get arrested. Those people that they've enslaved in the western borders don't have such rights. So we don't get a lot of information out of those cities, unfortunately.
Hmm. All right. I know there's we Americans don't quite get how big the cities are over there.
No,
The concentration of populations in certain places. Um, just like in our country, there are vast stretches where there ain't shit, but our big cities are actually kind of dinky by comparison. You can kind of say like Los Angeles, Chicago, and LA. I mean, excuse me, New York, are kind of megaplexes that
yeah,
stretch
sure,
over tri-state and all that. And like Los Angeles is like 100 miles long, 100 miles wide, and goes pretty much solid all the way down to San Diego, from Malibu or Santa Barbara.
sure.
Um, but and you could consider that one large area, but it's
Mega
not a
city
city
too.
that yeah, yeah, mega city too. But I mean, I've looked at some of these areas where the whole areas are, the sprawl is massive. Plus they take in the kind of this countryside around, and they're huge cities. 20 and 30 million.
Oh, bigger than that, dude. They have 60
And
plus million people city, supposedly. But then again, the Chinese lie. It's hard to know the truth on that. But Thunder, can you do me a quick favor? Can you search what is the population of the greater New York City area? Not New York City itself, the New York City, you know,
megaplex.
county
Yeah.
of New York City, however they title that. But I mean, just to make a comparison, because that there is a lot of people in that area, but to compare to a single city in China.
I don't think he's there. Hey, so y'all want to talk about comics or nah?
We are, dude, because I'm going to write a comic about the supernatural plague in China. I'm going to do it. That's
Oh,
it.
I'm
There you
muted.
go.
That's why
Okay.
everybody's talking over me.
The
The
Bosch.
population of the greater metro area of New York City is 20.3 million people, and that isn't just Manhattan. That is all the boroughs. That's going all the way
Yeah,
basically to Connecticut.
that's right.
That's the whole area, and
The
that is,
Yeah.
I think, the largest city, like by land size in America. LA might be bigger actually, but it's right up there.
LA's bigger in its total like area size, but it's not as
Yeah.
big population. And they call the broader area there. It's called the Northeast Megalopolis, or the Boss Wash corridor, which
Yeah.
is over 50 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Shanghai itself has 26 million people living in the city proper. Now, and these numbers probably are accurate, actually, because what China has not only are people coming from the countryside desperate for work coming into the cities, China is actually moving them out of the country and bulldozing their villages that have been there for centuries, right? And forcing them in to make sure there's work labor. And if they can't find work, then they set up these little shanty towns. And then what's the government could do? They go and beat them down for daring to live on the streets homeless. I mean, that's the nonsense that's going on in China, right? But yeah, so these numbers of these cities are probably close to reality, because they basically are emptying their countryside. But yeah, it's whew, goodness gracious. But anyway, we should get on to comic book news.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I just wanted to update the situation. China news today. See the same thing. CNT. It works, Nick. It works.
China.
Their Turtle makes a good point. How about all those videos of people being welded into their buildings, or the lady getting pulled out of the car, and that dude being pulled put in a concrete box? Creepy stuff, man. Yeah, no, we've got a lot more videos of that today. Actually, came out. That they're not just welding people into the houses. There are at least a dozen examples of them welding up apartment buildings. Now, keep in
Yeah.
mind, no one can get
Damn.
out. They're not bringing
Friggin'
food. They're
peach
not
trees,
bringing
man.
water. They're not bringing medicine. They're just welding them into the building for them to die, right?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It'd
it's
be
it's serious in China. Now, outside of China, it looks like the Western world has kind of locked this thing down, which is awesome, right? That's really cool, and I hope it stays that way. But the situation in China is dire, and I understand a lot of people are like, "Yeah, well, screw China," but I mean, is that really fair? I mean, they're people, right? And they're not necessarily to blame for what the Communist Party has done because it's this monolith, right? We can blame Xi if we'd like for a lot of stuff, but the monolith of communism is why it always causes so much trouble and it never actually works. Is because it becomes a monolith unto itself, and all the people in power are greedy for their own little special privileges, and that's why Marxism is a failed idea, right? So the people in China aren't worthy of death. It's a horrible situation.
Yeah.
sadly
Yeah. The more
the
important news, however, Greta Thunberg has a BBC reality show coming out. She will solve all our problems, of course. Yeah, and that's the thing. How much is the West even talking about what's going on in
All
China?
hail the new Messiah, Greta Thunberg.
oh, God.
Oh,
It depends where you look. The mainstream media just does blurbs on it about the numbers, like it's a
Yeah,
scoreboard. But other places, alternative outlets are more focused on it, reporting on it, because the mainstream media is owned by China largely,
yeah,
so they won't say too many things critical of them. That's why when Donald Trump tries to rein in China's ridiculous irreciprocal behavior to the United States, literally a parasite just sucking the money right out of this country,
hmm
um, they all go into these apoplectic fits
oh, sure.
because
Yeah.
the masters told them to.
It just shows you, though. Hey, Jim O'Reilly's here. Hey, how you doing, dude? And then, of
Mm.
course, Tur Rob is also talking about the fact that Tencent accidentally released the information about 150,000
definitely.
plus infected, and of course, high ratios of death. Yeah, and I'm
Accidentally
sure
on
they got in
purpose.
big trouble for that. Keep in mind that Tencent, as all big companies in China, are owned by the government. This is something people don't seem to get. Tencent
Yeah.
is not an independent game maker, guys. It's owned by the Chinese government. It was put in place by the communist government in order to try to take control and get money out of the video game industry. That's how they work. You cannot have a large company in China by law that isn't owned by the Communist Party. It baffles my freaking mind that
Why?
people don't get this, man.
Which is why, like, free market people are so stupid when it comes to China, because you're not dealing with a free market if you're dealing with China. You're dealing with China. That's what you're dealing with. There's nothing free about it. They're 100% hand in the cookie jar all the time.
Yeah.
There will be no free trade. There will be no equitable trade because they'll make sure that that doesn't happen. If you're talking about between two companies or whatever, yeah, you can have free trade, but you're not going to have it with a company that's based in China. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't exist. It's a
Yeah.
myth.
Yeah.
But let's move on to our news for today. And just something
Oh,
happier,
thank
lighter,
God.
would be nice. And yeah, we've had a couple of deaths in comic books.
Oh yeah, just
Wow.
right,
All
right
right.
in the wrap.
Archie Comics
Yeah.
editor-in-chief Victor Gorlick dies at age 78.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, that's a long life, and of course, I don't know how long he did Archie, but safe travels, sir, and condolences to the family, of course. But this guy was involved in comics books from the '60s, dude. So good on him for a life of providing joy and entertainment to people. I never really read Archie myself, but I know my mother loved it. She was a big Archie fan. And it's of course a very long-lived thing, and he lived a long time too. 78's not bad for a Western person. That's pretty good. Yep. So his name is Victor Gorlick. Dies at 78, and of course we have another one as well. This one here is Orson Bean. He died at 91, but he was struck by
Oh.
a car. Goodness
What
gracious.
was he? Was he driving around,
I don't know.
or was he walking?
He was crossing the street. And this is TMZ. What a crazy place to be on for this show. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ Bean was allegedly jaywalking. Okay, blame the victim. Yeah, in Venice Friday night when he was clipped by one vehicle and then struck by another. Well, dude, he's a 91. He might not necessarily have all his faculties at 100%. Here where I live, there's a lot of old elderly. It's Japan. I mean, but there's a ton of elderly. So when I'm driving around, as everybody else who drives around here, you are responsible for the old people and the children and everything, right? I mean, it's a responsibility as a driver. It's not a right to drive a car. It's a privilege. Yeah. And I every time that this I've seen this happen, it's always like he was jaywalking or something like that. Who cares? That driver takes responsibility to a point, at
But
least.
what was he wearing? Was he dressed like a whore?
He might have been. He might have been. Yeah.
He was street walking, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But of course, he's more famous for being on Modern Family for modern people. How I Met Your Mother, which I never watched that, but I know that's very popular. But of course, Seventh Heaven as well. He's been around a long time, and he lived a long life. And it's too bad it ended that way. But he made it in '91. But so these Hollywood actors, they make it up there pretty high. Some of them. I mean, we just had Kirk Douglas die at 103. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, the
He lived a
Reaper
long
was
time
afraid of
after his
him.
stroke too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's sad, but safe journey, sir. Condolences to your family, and rest in peace. Oh well. Let's get on to actual news. Ooh, Booster.
What do we got? FX's Why the Last Man loses its leading man. It's kind of an important role, considering you need
Yeah.
at least one man for the show to work.
Right. Now, we've been talking about this for a while here, right? The idea of this, and we've had very mixed opinions on this show, which I love. I love the fact that we have different opinions from people. Me personally, I think it would be a fun show. I'd love to see it be turned into a TV show, but they've had a lot of trouble with this friggin' production, dude. This isn't the
One,
first
one,
time we've reported something like this.
one thing, real quick. Slick Jimmy, can you do me a favor?
Mute, because a damn
Go
dog.
kill no dog. Go shoot that dog. But the other thing,
It's the neighbor's dog, and when he gets on it, like, he won't shut the fuck up.
Oh, there we go. F-bomb on Comics News Today. There it is,
All right.
guys. There it
Jimmy,
is.
yeah,
The
Jimmy
other
needs to
thing is-
assassinate a dog, alright?
the other thing is, how do you lose your one-man show? How do you lose that one man? How does that happen?
That's a very good question.
Well, they already did the pilot. It looks like the pilot is ready, and a big reboot in the show's direction and showrunner. You would think. I think you've lost Yorick. What are you gonna do? They're
What
killing.
do
Yeah.
Everybody else is dead. What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
How does that-
Shit. That one guy.
But and he is actually the same actor who's going to be in the Marvel Studios The Eternal, which I don't have much faith in. But
Oh.
the problem with these reports we get is, all right, I have the information, but you didn't tell me why. There's no reason why. And if you look at the guy, I think it's a good choice. I mean, he's obviously Slavic. He's got a little bit of that, Mongolian Golden Horde mix going on in him. He's a Cossack, maybe. But
He's a
I think he's a good
Yep.
choice, though. Look, visually, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine. He'll do the job, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's not
His
doing the
head's
I'm
too
job.
big
sure
for his
he had
body.
to
He's
leave
out.
due to, how do we say, artistic differences.
They don't even say that. They don't even give it. They
Well,
give us
yeah,
nothing.
that usually means that this guy hated someone, like the director or something. That
Or
tends to
someone
happen.
hated him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and this thing, depending on how you do The Last Man. Now, if you actually do it like The Last Man comic book, what it does is it has a story it's telling, and it's a pretty good story. But it also, along the way, its commentary is about not necessarily women in general, but just the vagaries of society. It's pretty tame fare for comic book politics. But if you wanted to put this in the modern time and you wanted it to be successful, use a lot of it to just bang on feminism. Just bang on it hardcore because it's the perfect vehicle for such a thing, right? And I'm
Well,
waiting.
everyone-
Someone's got to bite that bullet. Someone's got to bite that bullet like they did with the Joker, and they're going to come out and they're just going to slam it like Ricky Gervais did. They're going to slam SJWs hard, and it's going to be a mega hit. right? Because Joker is, even though we saw Joaquin Phoenix and Brad Pitt and all those idiots get up there like, save the animals, and all the other stupid nonsense they were doing,
Here's your
right?
milk.
The
You can't
director,
have your milk.
Hey,
right? The
what were the
director of
ratings on this
Joker
Oscars?
was making a political statement, and he was about how much nonsense is going on in the world, right?
What was the ratings on this Oscars? It can't have been that good.
Oh, it's
6
horrible.
million lost from last year. I don't know what the total number was, but I
Damn,
saw
it was
somebody say
already
that they
low.
lost 6 million.
Yeah, who wants to
viewers.
watch
Yeah,
TV?
and nobody gives a shit anymore. I used to watch the Oscars religiously when I was, doing film and television. Now I don't give a shit. I don't care about any of the
Yeah.
award shows.
Yeah, well, the problem is, and we've talked about this. You can do politics right in entertainment. You can, but overall, what do we want from entertainment? It's to get away from the day to day.
It's in the name.
Yeah, entertain me.
Entertain us, monkeys. Dance.
Dance, clown. Dance.
Don't
But I
lecture
mean, right?
me.
Every day we're inundated all day long. Oh, you horrible white man! How dare you exist? All day we get this crap coming at us from all angles, right? But yet we go to see some entertainment to relax and kind of put the world aside for a moment, and what do we get? More of it. Yeah, it's insanity. They don't get it. They're stupid people. They're just stupid. And Brad Pitt, okay, Brad, so you get yourself in a little bit of trouble because you've been you got a divorce from your wife, who was an absolute insane person. You shouldn't have married her anyway. And he's trying to make up some points, right? Same thing we see with Ewan McGregor. He got caught. He was cheating on his wife for years and years and years. So he's trying to make himself look better in the press by, yay women. It's so transparent.
Yes. 100%. And it works. It works every time because the press are idiots and they just want to push their agenda more than actually, follow the truth.
Yeah.
So it works every time. They come out, they virtue signal on a big stage, and that's all they talk about for the next 2 weeks if they talk about them at all. And that's it.
But if you look at the highlights for the Oscars, it was just a freaking train wreck, dude. And that's why no one watches it. That's why I didn't watch it, because it's a train wreck. I mean, you got to the point that Steven Crowder actually does Oscar watches just to mock it, and he gets more views on his videos than they do.
It's extremely telling that nobody wants to host the Oscars anymore because they're afraid of getting the blowback
Fingered
for saying
I think
something.
Is the word.
Yeah,
Fingered.
somebody.
Fingered.
Wasn't it great? They tried to make Kevin Hart apologize for some bullshit so that he could go do the Oscars, and he just went no, and now they can't find anyone to host the thing.
Well, because that's exactly what will happen. Is somebody on Twitter will get all up in their butt about something somebody said 15 years ago, and that'll be the end of it.
There's a TFT
You know what his
for
big
you.
crime was? He said that if he 10 years ago, he said something along the lines of if he caught his son playing with dollhouse, he'd smash the dollhouse over the kid's head.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But that's a TFT title right there, Thundero. Twitter, Twittiot verse.
Twidiots.
Well, the
Twits on the twatter.
The TFT for Twitter is it a government psyop? Because it is. It was created by DARPA
Twits on the twatter. That's how it is.
Long before it was put out by Mr. Jackie Poo.
Well, it's the same with Miss Magazine, right? That is fully understood to be a CIA op at now, right? After the fact.
100% gay op confirmed.
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, look at what happened to Harley Quinn, and I think I have that here. Let's get right into it. Harley Quinn, of course, came out, and Margot Robbie wasn't super offensive about it, but basically said, "Come on, guys, just give feminism a chance, guys." Then, of course, we had things that we don't need no men watching our movie because we get the ladies and the gays. Well,
how Birds of Prey went astray with 33 million plus opening Sunday final, or how Booster owes Cosmic News an apology for saying they're full of shit.
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah.
That's a good headline, though. I like this I like this guy, D'Alessandro. You write good headlines, sir. I like it. It's very well done. Flows, has a little rhyme in it. It's great. I love it.
Well, what kind of chance did this movie have? Right, one, it made itself to be a feminist film. Right, how many people? What percentage of people in the U.S. actually consider themselves feminists? 12%,
Most women
17%?
refuse to be called that. Yeah.
Oh, I'd say it's probably even lower than that, actually.
Probably even lower than that. So you've
Like
already
me.
slashed out a huge chunk of your audience. Then you make it R-rated. You slash out even more of them, and and honestly, you ironically probably slash out a large chunk of your people that actually consider themselves feminists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
14-year-old Dumbledore, they're like, well, I can't go see this movie. I'm not old enough.
Yeah. Well, the thing with it that I'm hearing from the reviewers is this. It has some bright points and it has a lot of just bland points. So it's not actually a horrible movie itself. It's like a C minus type of movie, actually, kind of like Wakanda there, Black Panther, and
Wakanda.
Aquaman, Wonder Woman. It's kind of in the same level of movie. You can go enjoy it actually, but of course the problem is they came out and they pushed the rhetoric as this is an ultra feminist movie, and of course the funny thing about it is from the reviewer saying, actually it's not very woke at all. So how dumb can you be, right?
They did that. They've done that a couple times now, where they push it as this big moment for women, and then it's just a movie with maybe a
Yeah,
couple.
apparently that happened with Captain Marvel for the most
Yeah, a
part.
couple little virtue signals thrown in there for
Mhm.
good measure, but other than that,
Yeah.
it's just a
Yeah.
movie.
And of course
Well,
they're
the
also
thing is like
upset.
everything I've seen on it, like all the trailers and all the promos, just look terrible. I mean, they
Yeah.
just look terrible. I don't know why they. So that what that says is like, why would I want to go? I mean, just the design of it, the casting, in my opinion, I'm sure that they're fine actors and actresses. I know that's sexist, whatever. But
How is that
when you
sexist?
look at, because you say actresses, you're delineating, and you're not supposed to do that. They're all
Oh
actors.
no.
They're
Well,
all
yeah, if
Yes,
I'm
thespians.
talking in the
and
plural, they are all actors. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
yeah,
but so what I'm saying by this is that when you look at it and the feeling you get off it, unless it really hits you in the feels, which most people apparently it didn't,
Mhm.
because most people who watch this, who are going to be their core audience, are again comic book people who are, for the most part, male, and when they look at it, they don't see the birds of prey. And I'm not a big DC guy, but I don't see the birds of prey that I'm used to. And when did Harley Quinn start hanging out with the birds of prey?
Exactly.
I
She
mean,
would be the
That's never been a
target
thing.
of
she was
them.
this. Yeah, she
Why
would be the
is this
sirens
not
of
Gotham City
Gotham.
Sirens?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, right? But
and,
there's two other points to put on top of this. One, they're complaining, the SJWs, because Ewan McGregor and the guy, whoever the guy is playing Zazaz, are not actually gay. So therefore, appropriation, I suppose. But the other thing is that whole thing, all those trailers were pushing the birds of prey, all those girls, right? All those girls. They don't come in into the very last bit of the movie. The whole movie is basically Harley Quinn. So why didn't you call it that? I mean, come on.
Well, technically, it's called the Birds of Prey and was it Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn?
But the birds of prey don't even come in into literally the last moments of the
Yeah,
movie.
and Barbara Gordon's not even in it.
Yeah.
yep.
And for some odd reason, that chubby little Asian hipster girl is supposed to be Cassandra Cain, otherwise
Mm-hmm,
known as one of the best Batgirls that we all know of.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's just dumb on top of dumb.
not to mention this this bloody movie is also a spin-off of a movie that was universally hated, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it was very
People
poorly done.
very much dislike that movie. Why are you making a spin-off of that?
Yeah, yeah. Fair
And I
point.
mean, and the thing is like the only thing that sold Suicide Squad was Harley Quinn's character, which that's the only quote unquote bright spot that came out of it. The imitation of her, and again, like I didn't really care for
Well, she was
that
almost
iteration,
naked. That's pretty much what did it.
right? But then in this one, they have to go the other way. They can't pander to the male gaze that might have actually brought in a few butts and seats.
Oh
That
no, this movie deconstructs the male gaze.
It does. It
and
does.
the thing that
Yeah.
and the thing that kills me is that Margot Robbie got her start in Hollywood by really pandering to the male gaze.
Oh yeah. Her whole thing is that. I think she got way too skinny for that Tarzan role. But the for me the big problem is they sold a movie that they didn't make. All the trailers and all the hype had nothing to do with the actual movie they made. And it's like, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense to me. It's like you're intentionally trying to tank your film.
It's like this new form of anti-marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
totally.
hey, let's pander to the most insufferable dickheads in the world, and then be surprised when they don't show up.
If you're going to market your movie as a feminist movie, right, and that's pretty much what they did largely, or at least they tried to pretend like it was in some areas, and in other areas, it's just a fun movie. If you're going to even do that at all, why would you go with the Birds of Prey characters instead of Gotham City sirens? That's
Yeah,
so
well,
much better.
well, they could have done
That's
a
so
Birds
much
of Prey
better.
movie and had the target was Harley Quinn. She was the bad guy because she's a villain. People keep
That could've
forgetting
been so
this.
good.
She's a bad
My
guy.
Yeah.
My point is if they're doing the feminist movie, or at least that's what they're claiming they were doing. It was this big just deconstruction of the male gaze, and the bad guy's a super misogynist. It would make far more sense to go with the sirens characters,
Yeah,
the
that's true.
females,
That's
than the
true.
Birds of Prey that is completely androgynous, could be anything. It's just from that very simple marketing thing. This is how you know marketing has gone completely insane. These people have no idea what they're doing anymore. None at all. They've completely lost the plot.
So they could have gone GCS v BOP. Oh, that would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome.
What a great title.
A great title. But they, but I do love the gay bashing. I love the gay bashing because they're on and on about the misogyny and stuff. And of course, who is the misogyny coming from? The gay guys. Isn't that awesome? I thought they were
Whoops.
allies. What happened? Whoops.
Oopsie
Exactly.
daisies. We
Whoopsie
call that
daisy.
an oopsie in virtue signaling.
Yeah. Anyway, let's
When
move on.
when you want to have absolutely no white men in your movie, but then it's like, damn it, but someone has to come in with the misogyny. Damn it!
Yeah. Now,
What do
I
we got
know
here?
that in my title, we're going to move on to this next one here.
Oh,
But I
no.
know in my title
Oh.
that I said John Dillard was going to come in and talk about the Canadian Shield, and I don't know where John is. So,
Whoops.
it's not my fault.
Oh well.
Go ahead, Booster.
I don't want to talk about this, Chester, because you're gonna go on a half an hour bloody rant about how blackface is a good thing, actually.
Go ahead. Why do you think it's up here?
Barnes and Noble
Why do you
cancelled
think
the
I put it
first
up here?
edition
Go ahead.
after accusations of literary blackface. All right, let's go.
Well, how could that be? I mean, let's take a look at these book covers here. Frankenstein is now a black dude. Romeo and Juliet are blacks. Little Dorothy's a black girl, and I hate that art. Moby Dick. Oh, good. My name is Ishmael. Wonderful. All of these books have been made black, and that's what that. It's time. It's time. Damn it! It's time.
It's
right?
time. This
Yeah.
is like the equivalent of in a video game
they-
where you just switch skins for your character.
Yeah.
It's just like
Is Captain
okay,
Ahab chasing the black whale?
get all these
He
characters
is.
and color
He
them up in
most
shoe
certainly
great-
is.
polish.
He's
the
gonna
great
be
black
that
whale.
whale.
It's good.
Let's
Oh,
get
boy.
into it here because
Yeah.
this is another idiocy thing.
Isn't Queequeg black, or is he like West Indian?
I kind of always
can't
felt
remember.
that
I
he
read
was
the book.
some kind of savage. Yeah.
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 He was very noble. He was a noble savage.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fine. But Black History Month is a time of the year when many reflect on the contributions of Black Americans over the centuries. Let's give me a list, please. Many companies choose to celebrate this by highlighting certain products created by Black Americans. Moby Dick was certainly not created by an American Black
Both of
American, but
them.
hey, that's all right. Barnes and Noble decided.
What about Friday?
Barnes and Noble decided to take this another step further, and in partnership with Penguin Random House, wow, Penguin and Random House have merged. I didn't even know that. Redesigned book covers of classic novels. The idea was titled diverse editions. And so classics like Romeo and Juliet, Frankenstein, Peter Pan, Moby Dick, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, reimagined
Diverse
with
just means
protagonists
black to them.
being black. The diverse editions were supposed to be on
so
shelves
what?
earlier this month. However, it didn't take long for outcry on social media to show the booksellers that their attempt at celebrating Black History Month was beyond a miss. I agree.
Are all these in Ebonics?
Probably. Yo, Ishmael, give me that pointy stick. We're gonna get this
What you doing,
bitch.
Hey, throw me that harpoon, homie.
Romeo, where the fuck art thou?
Right. Well, I'm surprised they went with Moby Dick because I do believe the word
Romeo, you better
spear
not be with
and
that white
chucker are
bitch.
usually considered racist.
Yeah.
But we'll just ignore that. But this is stupid. This is more stupid people doing, because they cause more trouble than they think they're going to solve. Because you had some, they think it'd be great. We're going to take these horrible white people books and we're going to put black people on them. We're going to prove something. And of course, they are actually insulting black people.
So the Frankenstein's monster is black now?
Yeah, he got killed. He got killed. Oh, they tried to kill him. They failed though. They were going to lynch him.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Romeo and Juliet dead. Yeah.
The peasants are revolting.
More
Terrible.
dead.
This is terrible, you guys. This is
Dr.
terrible.
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde dead. Yeah. Good.
So
Brilliant.
Dr. Jekyll is obviously black, and he turns into a big white British man.
Oh, that's perfect.
Bust the press.
And now, of course, this NPR person said it's still a story by a white author featuring a white character told via the white gaze, and none of this has changed within the content of the story itself. White people.
Do you understand yet? I hope everybody listening understands that we're joking about this. These people hate white people.
They do.
They want them erased from history, even in fiction.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
Yep, the whites are bad.
The whites, yeah.
White bad.
If they get power, if they get actual power, there's going to be genocides of white people everywhere.
Well, it's
That's
happened
reality.
before, dude. It's happened before.
I know.
Right.
And then white people finally realize, hey, wait, maybe these are our enemies, and killed them. That's what happened.
Yeah, well. But we see that there is an army, at least in America, that is ready to fight it. We see this.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The Virginia situation proved that very clearly, which is why they got terrified and backed up. Anyway, let me read this statement here. We acknowledge the voices who have expressed concern about the Diverse Editions project at our Barnes & Noble's Fifth Avenue store and have decided to suspend the
sounds so
initiative.
weird.
Yeah, I know. Diverse Editions presented new covers of classic books through a series of limited edition jackets designed by artists hailing from different ethnicities and backgrounds. Well, they're not very good art. I got some artists for you. Come talk to me. The covers are not a substitute for black voices or writers of color whose work and voices deserve to be heard, okay? The booksellers who championed this initiative did so convinced it would help drive engagement with these classic titles. It was a project inspired by our work with schools and was created in part to raise awareness and discussion during the Black History Month, in which Barnes & Noble stores nationwide will continue to highlight a wide selection of books to celebrate Black history and great literature from writers of color. Well, writers of color are not necessarily black. Now, are they? And of course, for me, the most important statement in here is this. It was a project inspired by our work with schools. Now, this is the really insidious part of what's going on. They are after your children. And this is why we have seen homeschooling just go through the roof. Right? And America should consider itself very lucky that homeschooling is allowed by the law, because there are many countries in the planet that they're not. If you don't send your child to school, you will get in big trouble. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Thunder was right. We're making joke of it because it's hilariously stupid, but it's insidious, most certainly. And the art's not great either. It's got this standard Steven Universe type of crappy art that everyone is using, and it's like, do better, man. Do better. Look at this Romeo and Juliet thing. That is crap art, dude. That is crap. Booster could do better than that.
I'm gonna do that. They look like they're both cringing at the idea of kissing.
Literally, it's one of the greatest pieces of art ever created, Romeo and Juliet. And that top 5 easy, especially literary. And they have that on it as artwork. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's not only disrespectful because they flipped around with the races. That's just disrespectful on a quality level. That's disgusting.
And why does your Wizard of Oz Dorothy look like a hooker on Crenshaw Avenue?
They already have a Black Wizard of Oz. They have the Wiz.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Oh, sorry about that.
What are you doing?
Well, you are starting to see a lot of pushback. This was from
the Black Moby Dick could be Moby this Dick.
You're starting to see pushback just from normal normal non-white people who are like, this is stupid, this is insulting, this is tokenism. What
Yeah.
are you doing? It's happening in bigger and bigger numbers, thank God. And yeah, it's fun to be pandered to for a while, but eventually you realize, hey, this guy's just kissing my ass, right? That's all they're doing. It's not
Pandering.
about quality or anything. It's just them trying to get on my good side.
Well, let's check something out here. Famous black authors. Now, my favorite black writer is actually Priest, who of course is a comic book writer, and good on him because he stands up against this kind of nonsense. To be honest with you, but let me see here. The 10 black authors everyone should read. Okay, this is PBS. All right. Let's see what it is. Let's see what this amazing stuff is I need to be reading. So, acclaimed American poet, author, and activist. All right, I'm out. I don't care what she's written, right? Let's see here. James Baldwin. Though he spent most of his life living abroad to escape the racial prejudice in the United States, which is weird because, well, anyway, James Baldwin is the quintessential American writer. Is he? Black man in America, born in Harlem.
How is he the quintessential American writer if he wasn't even in America?
He wrote "Go Tell It on the Mountain," which is a song. I've never even heard of it. Okay. Amiri Baraka. Okay. He looks angry.
I know this guy. Yeah.
He's an activist. He hates white people. Next.
Yeah.
Octavia Butler. Now I've heard this name before. A dyslexic writer.
Oh.
No
It
clue.
can't be that good then.
Yeah, no clue. Let's see. Du Bois. What did you write there, Du Bois?
Du Bois.
Yeah, I know. It
Du
was funnier the way I said it.
This guy, he was actually competent, and he was writing about things like the African slave trade stuff.
It's an academic book, though.
Yeah,
it's not a novel. Ralph Ellison. I mean, if you're gonna mention great black, academic writers, well, where is Soul? Of course, he's a more conservative leaning person. That's why he's not on this list so far.
I thought you meant Soul Plane.
No, I mean, he's an academic. He's a very smart guy. The invisible, the first lines of Invisible Man. Well, obviously there is an Invisible Man that is very popular, and it's not his. And he basically looks like another essay writer, shadow and act, racism. Alex Haley, he did the autobiography of Malcolm X. Langston Hughes. Jazz rhymes in his works. Okay, fun.
If he's related to our Joshua.
Raisin in the Sun. A Raisin in the Sun. Once again, never heard of it. Zora Hurston. Their eyes were watching God. All right, never heard of it. If this is some amazing literary thing, why has it not been ever heard of if it's so well written? Because the thing with a book, when you pick up the book, it has the title, it has the author's name, and then you read it. It doesn't tell you who the writer is. You don't know what the color is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Zora Hurston from the 20s, that could be any white lady, right? So, once again, never heard of it. Richard Wright, Uncle Tom's Children. And maybe he's the one that wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin? I don't think so. I think that was, so maybe he was writing
Nick C is asking when we're going to get to Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Ta-Nehisi Coates?
Ta-Nehisi.
Well, Ta-Nehisi
looks like
Coates
Ta-Nehisi.
was,
what kind of name
course,
is Ta-Nehisi? Get out of here with that.
Well, he was on stage recently with who was he on there with? Some actress that was going on about not stupid stuff, not even realize who she was sitting next to. Because that's an actual bigot. That's a full-on bigot. I think a lot of these people are just taking advantage of the time and the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, never heard of any of these people or any of these things they've gone on about at all. So what are you telling me? I got a bunch of African Americans to read that I've never heard of. And the funny thing is, I bet you there are some actual black authors that they didn't even bother to mention because they're not activists, right? Yeah. Unbelievable, man. It's just the racism within the racism, right?
Well, it's funny they have all those authors and they don't have, like, Malcolm X isn't on there. He's far more influential than any of them, even if you disagree with him.
Number 4.
It's just ridiculous. It's clearly that list was designed as, from propaganda.
Yeah. I don't see anything at all here. Nothing that I recognize. And, I'm a reader. by the way. And of course, Slick Jimmy is dying from the coronavirus. Oh yeah, put Barack Obama's autobiography on there. Rock on, dude.
Of course it
It's not even the good one. It's not even the good one, dude. Where he talks about his family and upbringing, which is so much nonsense. Brown Girl
the
Dreaming.
audacity of hope. The absolute audacity of this man and his hope.
Look at none of it. I have heard of none of these things, and I'm actually a reader.
He's actually a reader. He actually reads.
And you know the thing is, I've read a lot of books, and I have no clue whatsoever what the writer looks like. Not at all. Matter of fact, I'm horrible with names, man.
I always just assume that they're butt ugly. That's why
that's fine.
They're
Anyway,
writers. Yeah.
I'm going to move on, but it's just silliness, man, silliness. Of course, we were going to have John was going to come in and talk more about the Canadian Shield. I don't know why he didn't show up. We had him scheduled. It was everything is set up. I blame Booster.
I blame John Dillard and not me.
Okay.
I blame Rick Poe. I blame Obama. I blame Jesus.
Okay. But of course, the thing being is, definitely go check this out, guys. He's member of our community, and we'd like to see him at least get it funded. He's not asking for a lot of money. Go check it out. One of my moderators, please drop that link and, at least share it. See if we can get more eyes. See if we can't get this funded. It only wants $2,000. Let's see if we can't get it done. But moving on, though. Now this is just precious. Precious.
What do we got?
Go ahead.
Bella
Precious.
Thorne and was it Malin Ackerman share new photos for female-centric Fight Club film. Do I have to say it?
Yeah, say it. You have to say it. Say it.
Chick fight.
Chick fight. Now, of course, everyone's going to call
Bella
it chick
Thorne
flight.
and Malin Ackerman.
I never heard of them.
So one of the misconceptions we have surrounding this film is that it's a Fight Club reboot. It's not. It's just a movie that is inspired by Fight Club. So I'd imagine that the quote-unquote inspiration for Fight Club is just going to be these women going underground and beating the shit out of each other, instead of having a lot of the themes that Fight Club have. Like the mental illness of the character, right? The cult-like mentalities, and the just the failure of society.
So you mean a good movie?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. It's just going to be a bunch of women beating the shit out of
If it was just that, though, Booster, it wouldn't be a famous movie, right?
Yeah, Fight Club is a very prescient film.
Exactly.
It is. It's a good word for it, dude.
Yeah, Fight Club is an excellent movie. I just think that this movie is just going to have a bunch of women beating the shit out of each other underground and call itself Fight Club inspired.
I have pictures. Would you like to see the pictures for Chick Flick?
I want to see
Let's go check out Chick Flick. Because the pictures are going to shock you, because they're definitely going to show you that this movie has meaning and value. They certainly are. They're going to focus on that even. Oh, okay. All right. A little bra action there. That might be worth it. Kind of filthy. Right there. Oh, she's screaming with rage. Screaming with rage. All right. Oh, fights and punches. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness! Yeah, more punches.
Anyone else kind of turned on? Because
yeah. Well, my point is, there's nothing here showing us that there's an actual movie here. It's just literally.
Where is all the Jello? There should be more Jello.
I know. Mud.
Yeah.
Hey, did I tell you one time when I was working in the strip club and they were doing oil fighting? Oh no, let's not do that.
No, I think I know this story.
Yeah.
One of the women gets her hand stuck, doesn't she?
Somewhere, yeah. She gets them stuck somewhere. Yeah.
I like that stripper story.
It is a good story, yeah. And it happened too. It was an actual. Oh, she's practicing. To be fair, though, the girls in these pictures look like they've actually been working out. Now, that's something I've been complaining about. Actors is not putting the work in, because if you look at a lot of these ladies look like they've actually been working out. They look athletic.
There are a couple of good-looking like MMA fighters, like Rose Namajunas. But
got some muscles on them.
Yeah.
Who's that?
This is Bella.
That's Bella Thorne.
She's got that fake stuff they put in their lips, though. What do they call that?
I don't know what the hell she has all over her face, just caked on. But yeah.
Yeah, well, she's got that.
She used to have she used to have red hair, but now she looks feminized.
Well, this is more feminist and more SJW.
But
what is that stuff they
like
inject in their lips, though? To
Botox.
make
Collagen?
Botox. That's what it is. Yeah, Botox.
Botox, whatever.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful.
Is it Botox or is it collagen? I thought it was collagen.
It's Botox.
Botox is to smooth out wrinkles.
I don't know.
And they put it on their lips.
Whatever. They're idiots. But yeah, no one's interested in this movie at all. Nobody. Now, if you present this as being some girls kind of fighting and being sexy and little nip slips and stuff, maybe. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm an old guy, but I have never been interested in watching women fight. It actually is disturbing to me. And I know some of them can fight and they work very hard at it. I'm not taking that away from
Yeah.
them. But I just don't, personally, I don't want to see women fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care. I don't even like watching women really.
I don't mind it in like movies where like they don't like truly get messed up, but then you'll see like a pretty little girl like Rose Namajunas that goes in and gets like the side of her face all like totally pummeled and busted up, and yeah, I don't find that appealing at all.
No, I don't either. Yeah.
Women are beautiful. I mean, they're the better portion of God's creation for aesthetics anyway, and I don't like seeing beat up. I'm a protector as opposed to, somebody likes to see women hammered on,
Yeah, it's
whether they're
very
doing it to
strange
themselves or not.
thing.
Unless they have it coming.
Oh God.
They're not.
But the other thing about it is it's also the lack of actual competitiveness within it, because what was this big old Ronda Rousey, that's her name. Now I
Yeah.
like Ronda because she's honest about it. She doesn't abide this feminist crap. She doesn't at all. People like, you should fight Pernell Whitaker. You should fight him. You could beat him. And she's like, no, he would tear the hell out of me. What are you talking about?
That's a
But
dude. Get out of here.
yeah, get out of
No,
here.
every MMA chick that's of any note knows that that's the case. They don't pretend that they can take on somebody who's their same weight class. Well, first of all, most men aren't their same weight class.
Doesn't even
And
matter the
secondly,
weight class.
they just
It's more than that.
yeah. Well, I mean, there are guys who are really small, but like they're faster. They're just you watch them, they're faster.
They're tougher
and they're stronger, and most women who are you're right, they're like Ronda Rousey. They are honest to almost a fault, but it doesn't mean that they can't fight. It just means that anybody who's equally trained, they're going to find themselves at a serious disadvantage.
It's not even equally trained. Booster probably could beat Ronda Rousey, dude. Simply because he is male.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably let her beat me. If you know what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Well, I have a story about that. I'm not as big as you are. Gosh, damn fucking dogs.
That's a good story.
Okay.
I like that story.
Okay,
That's a good story.
I took some martial arts for a while. I did a little bit of Kempo karate, and there was a black belt girl who was doing sparring with me, and I just tossed her around.
Yeah.
And I was like a white belt, and she got upset that I could catch her, and I don't mean to say that I'm better. I'm not. I'm just saying that
it's just genetics, dude. I mean, yeah, no, I know what you're saying, because I've in my life working in the clubs, I've taken a lot more hits from women than men, because I just take them, because I don't want to trounce a woman, right? I just take the hit, just get in, grab her by the about her neck, and just lead her out, and I just take the hits as I go,
and just give them a spanking. Yes.
Well, I mean, and many bouncers I think are like that, and of course, in a club, the ones that are going to cause the most trouble anyway are women anyhow. Women are always the troublemakers in the situation.
Most part, right? You just hang out together, it's fine. But
well, it's because women don't understand like hierarchy and kind of the how men do. We size each other up, and we realize that this probably isn't a good idea unless you're drunk.
Well, it's because women
to go
have
up against
privilege.
Somebody like say you,
They're
and that's
privileged.
the privilege. They think that they can get away with hitting a man and they often can. Because of how society views it, the disparity between size and strength. And so, yeah, I mean, weird stuff happens.
Yeah, it does. But go ahead, Thunder.
I'm glad you didn't ever, break some chick over your,
No,
knee,
I just took it. Yeah, it's kind of
just
standard.
like throw her around.
You guys underestimate how insidious many women are. They absolutely
Oh my God,
know.
dude. Yeah.
They know they can get away with just about anything without getting
So they know that there's a hierarchy, and they know that maybe their guy isn't at the top of it. So they'll instigate stuff to try and get fights going. It happens all the time.
All the time.
Which is why
all
he
the time.
beats them.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
okay.
just-
but
no, it's
but
just why a lot of
Fanfic
kids get their ass kicked.
endorses beating women.
yeah.
Con-
Now, to be fair, in the strip clubs, this isn't as much a problem as it is in the nightclubs. But of course, I work both. But I'm not joking when I say the vast majority of all problems are coming from the females. If it isn't them directly, it's them, egging their man on to defend their honor or some other kind of perceived crap. It's always the woman that is causing the trouble, in my experience, and I've got a lot of experience with it, right? But yeah, it's just nonsense. It's just pure nonsense.
Here's something I learned: if you can find a woman that'll keep you calm and pull you away from bad situations, that's a good woman. If you find a woman
Yeah.
that'll egg you into stuff that's going to get your ass kicked, that's
Run.
a bad woman.
Run.
Get away
Well,
from
it's another form of sticking your dick in crazy.
It is, dude.
Yes.
It is. It most certainly is. And of course, we're preaching to the choir, because any dude that has walked outside his house and not stayed in front of his computer screen knows exactly what we're talking about. Any dude,
I still
right?
Damn
know
straight.
why was that specifically targeted at me, you son of a bitch?
My wife is watching the news and she keeps eyeing me because I'm saying stuff about women, and she's got two fingers on her eyes, moving to me. I'm watching you. But of course, what she's watching is the gossip about Harry and of course the Megxit. And did you know the news came out that Harry has hair implants? That's important. Now that's important. There's news.
Well, he has to stay hairy.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right, fine. Moving on. This is our last story of today, and it's a doozy. It's fun. This is funny. Go ahead, dude.
What do we got? We have animes. What is this? My Hero Academia backlash continues as critics now outrage characters share birthdays with German and Japanese World War II leaders.
All right. Come on. Hold on. Let's do it. Let's do an experiment. I'm doing an
I'm
experiment.
sorry. The
Here we go. No, let's.
Dolph
Adolf
I know
Hitler.
it's 420 because it's like weed.
Hold on a second. I'm checking it. Adolf Hitler. He was born. Let me find, when is his birthday. Let's find April 20th. April 20th. Okay, April
420.
20th. All right. So let's see here.
Weed.
No. Adolf Hitler's born on April 20. All right. So, famous. Let's spell that right. Birthdays on April 20th. Hey. All right, let's check it out here. All April 20 birthdays, famous birthdays. All right, let's see who else is a Nazi. All right, here we go.
You're born on April 20. You're
Okay,
now a Nazi.
Gigi
All right,
Gorgeous,
who-
you Nazi. Minnie Barbie, I don't know you. Lu Han, oh, you horrible human. Shamar Moore, don't know who you are either. Miranda Kerr, she looks familiar. Nazi. Let's see, Spencer X, gay Nazi. Yeah,
Guy
those are. Yeah.
Flash.
Carlos Valdez, 30, TV actor, absolute Nazi. Oh my God, Jessica Lange, you Nazi.
I bet 70. I
Oh,
bet she
look
was
it.
throwing.
10
What is-
friends, the freaking new queer eye for the gay, straight guy, whatever it's called. He's a Nazi too. Let's see here. Just look at him. Carmen Electra. Oh, you Nazi. Luther Vandross. How dare you be a Nazi, sir? You're black. And he's a great
Andy
singer.
Circus, no!
Yeah. Yeah, baby.
I should have known. The signs were all there.
Kurt Hawkins, a wrestler, of course. Hunter Rasmussen, a TikTok star, wherever that is. But Felix Mallard. Oh, look, the list just goes on. Killer Mike. Oh, no.
George Buchanan.
George. No, George.
No wonder why he acted so liberal all the time. It was all a psyop.
Explains everything.
Yeah. But anyway, I think I've made my point. Have I not? Have I not made my point? Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the single most retarded headline I've read in this in the 1.5 years we've been doing this. That
These people are
just ridiculous.
silly.
I gotta see some of these tweets. Surely they have tweet examples for us, right?
I don't know, dude.
That
They
we
don't
can
have anything.
we can
They don't
read
even give
silly
us the
voices.
date example. That's why I had to search Adolf Hitler.
Ah,
They don't give us anything. There's nothing in here,
it's
dude.
420, baby.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
My Fascism Academy. Oh boy.
yeah, just idiots, man, idiots. Uh, and who knows, maybe the writer who does love Western comic books, that's one thing about My Hero Academia. This is a guy who absolutely adores American comic books, and that's why he created My Hero Academia, is because he wanted to make an homage to it. So maybe he took some of the villains and gave them birthdays of bad guys to kind of just a little Easter egg to push it home. He could have done that, but I doubt it. It's probably more than likely he just threw dates out, and people somehow, I don't, God, how freaking little time must you have
Maybe
in
he
your
just
life
really
to
likes
figure that
weed.
out? Huh?
Maybe he just really likes weed. That's why he made like his main character on 420 or something. I don't know.
He's Japanese, dude. He doesn't smoke weed. Trust me.
Oh no.
No,
Do
because
you
here
guys
in
get jailed
Japan,
hard for weed?
no, because here in Japan, weed is equivalent to crystal methylene.
That's the trash
What?
drug.
Yeah, no, that's how the Asians look at it. You got to keep in mind what happened back with the Boxer Revolution and stuff like that. The English were actually the ones who were pushing heroin hard in China. They were picking up from the farmers and, of course, bringing it into the West, but they were also selling it in China. And the Chinese government was pushing back really hard against the English, and of course the other Europeans, because they were just destroying the country. So they made all drugs. They just universally blanketed it. The possession of it punishable by death. Now, this policy continues even into today. There are places in Asia that will kill you if you're caught with just a little bit of marijuana. I'm not joking. Asia's perception of drugs is very, very different. And it all comes out of that overreaction to what the British were doing. But no, so they're certainly not doing a marijuana, dude. That's a huge offense here. But anyway, it just made me laugh, dude. I cannot believe how dumb you are. How little time in your life can you possibly have to go on to some forum to find out that they all have birthdays, and then go check the birthdays, and then go check what other people have birthdays on that day, and thus noticing it. Now, you did notice in our little look here, they don't list Adolf Hitler, do they?
The most famous one of them all, yes.
Yeah.
But he's such a big celebrity. He is everyone's favorite villain in history.
Yeah.
Oh,
He is.
easily the most influential man of the last 100 years. Easily,
yeah.
because they will not let him die.
They won't let him die, yeah. And of course, Mao and Stalin were actually far
Who?
worse than he was, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not giving him a pass or nothing. Just saying.
I'm just saying that makes Hitler the best artist of all time, because he's immortal and everybody knows his name. I'm just saying, name an artist that's as popular, or I should say popular, but as well known as Adolf Hitler. Exactly.
Disavow.
Anyway,
Oh no.
but I blame George Takei. It's definitely his fault.
It's all him.
It's all him.
I think.
Oh my.
Wait, if we put a little mustache on him, do you think maybe?
Yeah. Someone's got to Photoshop that.
If you
We
put
need
a little mustache on him, he'll look like Tojo.
There he is. Look at him. Look at the evil. The evil just walking
no.
amongst you. Yes.
Oh my.
Anyway, all right. So that's the show, folks. That was interesting. A lot of complaining today, but that's all right. Having a laugh at the idiocy is always good fun. Let me come take one last look at the chat, and we'll come up and over and close it out. So we
I
got
have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you live in the Taiheiyo belt?
I don't even know what that is.
It is Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, and then all the way down to the southern islands. They call it the Taiheiyo belt.
Well, then I guess I do. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what that
I'm
means.
surprised you haven't heard of it.
No.
Anyway.
Nixie says the Boxer Rebellion. Yeah. A cult film video says Japanese chicks in America love weed, and I'm talking about FOBs. I don't know what that means, but it sounds disgusting.
Fresh off the boat.
Fresh off the boat. Well, they might because they're free, right? They're in it's weird. Asians, in particular Japanese, they see America as this place of incredible freedom. It's unimaginable level of freedom. Of course, the reality is Japan is far freer than America. Actually, bullet. But it's but because they have, it's all about perception, right? All of these things we talk about are about perception, right? Because even with this My Hero Academia, these people who push this around, their perception is that Nazis hang around in the shadows at every corner. They are under assault and they must fight and punch a Nazi to save the world. These people believe that. Now, understand the ones who are orchestrating this nonsense don't believe it. But then again, how many priests actually believe in God? Yeah?
Mhm.
It's perception. And it gets pretty ugly. The Rockefellers funded Hitler, yeah, and of course Gandhi was good buddies with him. hmm Yeah, so
Yes.
Gandhi's a
There, we
Nazi too.
need to put that on TFT there, the Adolf Hitler episode.
Yeah,
Let's make sure Booster is here for that one too,
yeah.
because I really want to trigger him.
Yeah. Bullet says, I live in Chester's Head rent free. Perception is 9/10 of the law, Tolfer says. Yeah, you're right, dude. In a way, it is. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. I love that game. That was funny back in the day. Let's see. No, what? No weed in Japan? That explains the no bacon, I guess. Yeah, well, it's hard to find good bacon. It's true. Uh, SJW is trying to destroy anime. Now, the interesting thing about that, here in our community, if we all remember a couple of years ago, where this whole Comicsgate thing kicked off, right? And many of us came over because of Captain Cummins or Richard Meyer or whatever, Tim Lim possibly even, Doug Ernst. But we all know it went sideways and got pear shaped, and it screwed itself up, and it caused a lot of trouble for people who are just trying to make successful comic books, and it's unfortunate that it went that way. And I'm not going to
But
get
no,
into it.
it's still alive. It's definitely not like a freaking. What is it with the? Oh man, I screwed up my own joke with
You
the
did,
timing. What was that
but
movie with they puppet around the dead guy?
Face Off.
No,
That was a
someone's
that was a
they
joke reference
called it.
from yesterday. So
I
I'm sorry.
fucked
I
it
do
up.
apologize. You did F it up. But my point being is, anime had the same thing going on. They were under attack. They came together. They had their all own anime gate, I guess you'd call it. And but instead of screwing it up, they came together. They unified themselves. They've even had conventions, right? And they came out after Comicsgate did. So they've been way more
Weekend at
successful.
Bernie's.
Oh God, it was already dead, dude. Let it die. Let it die.
Dude, that punchline, that's like, you drug it through like a swamp and then you
Yeah,
hung it up and
I
pissed on it.
yeah, I figured it out. No one complained. No one,
Nixie
no one.
says
I got it.
this channel is so banned. Well, many times over, I'm
Yeah,
assuming. Damnation says 420. Bullet says 420, baby. We're talking about April 20th. Oh my God. I got the coronavirus. Okay.
I
Chester
gave it to
sounds
you. I'm
like my
sorry.
grandfather. Awesome. Rhonda puts Booster in a dance, and he's thinking I can't. Darcy, and and he's thinking I can't breathe. But damn them tatas. Tatas.
Mhm.
Sorry.
I think a
I'd like
Darce
it to
choke.
crush me with a fires. I
Maybe.
wouldn't mind.
Weird stuff's happening like this chat right now. They love picking on us. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Harry is the king of simps. He most certainly is. Isn't that kind of sad though?
Seemed to be the king of cucks.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know this word simp, and then I learned it um, from a very strange place. Um, oh, what's his name? He does. It's a black dude that does a show that's basically screaming at the black people to stop, ruining themselves. Um, oh, I can't remember his name. He's so vulgar too.
No, that's not Larry Elder.
No, no, no. This is he's a YouTuber. Um, oh, damn it, I can't remember his name. Oh, whatever. But simp. What does it stand for? It's an anagram, I believe, right? A subservient position under women or something like that. What does it mean, guys?
Pufta.
Yeah, no. It actually each letter stands for a word, right?
I don't think so.
No, it does. It
It's
does.
just simp. It just means a cowardly man.
No, it means I know what it means. We all know what it means, but I mean, it has four words that make it up, like
I
scuba.
really don't think
You
it does, but I'll look it. I'll humor you. I'll look it up.
Thank you. Thank you. He's going to take care of that. But anyway, thank you guys very much for coming in here and being part of our show. We do appreciate it. Understand that tomorrow, of course, we have Bugbear's Basement, and we will be continuing the Moonshade Isles adventure, which is a lot of fun. And that's coming toward an end, and I'm really loving that. I know that's more niche, but we are having a lot of fun, Slick Eye and the guys. Um, just say scuba. I did
So
say
much fun.
scuba.
I love to start things on fire. It's my favorite thing.
He is the fire god. That's true. Scuba stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Actually, actually, simpleton. Now that's interesting. Damnation says it's simply a breakdown of the word simpleton. I heard that it was actually each letter has a meaning though. And I wish I could. I'm really hating that I'm brain farting on it. But oh well, it happens. It happens, guys, and Booster's not talking back to me, so he hasn't found anything, I guess. But anyway,
I mean, there's only one definition that could mean something, but I don't think I should say it on stream.
well, go ahead.
You sure? Simp.
Euphemize it.
A sucker idolizing mediocre
Pussy. Yeah, that's it. A sucker idolizing mediocre pussy, a simp. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah.
what it is. But that might be like a slang. A new
I
thing
like
for
it. I'm keeping it.
Yeah,
But
there
yeah,
you go.
simp is literally just simpleton. That's all it is. That's what it means. But
Oh,
it does
okay.
also mean in like a sexual context where you let ridiculous women control you.
Yep. No, makes sense. I really wish I could think of the black dude that does that YouTube because that dude is doing more for the black community than Oprah ever did. Right? Because he's going at it, he's
Mhm.
speaking their language, he's very ghetto, but he is going at it hard, saying, "Look, we are idiots. Look what we're doing to ourselves. We
Is it
must
Young
do better."
Ripa?
No, no. Tommy Sotomayor. There it is.
Oh, okay.
Tommy
Yeah.
Sotomayor. That guy, and that's where I heard the simp meaning from. So maybe he just slanged it, maybe. I mean, if you can bear it, go listen to that for a little while because he's vulgar. He's very vulgar. He's very hardcore. But he is trying to help his community. Is what he's trying to do. And good on him for that. You know what I mean? But anyway, Slick, final words, please, sir.
Yes. Oh, I'm doing an almost.
No. Just final words for the day. Actually, I'm going to have Booster
final words.
namaste because he was
Oh,
kind of
good,
useless
good.
today. So
Yeah.
All right. Final words. I think the world is crazy, and everybody always says it's crazy, and this is such a terrible time. But the truth is, we live in the best time in the history of the world, and we live in a peaceful, prosperous time, especially if you live in the U.S. or in the Anglosphere. Cherish it,
very true.
because I don't know how much longer it's going to be.
Awesome. Lord on mountain high.
Man, he killed me. He stole my whole thunder there. I was gonna go with some nice uplifting message, and he just killed it. He just brought it. He just knocked it right out of the park there. But yeah,
That's what I do.
sorry, I got completely distracted. Anyway, yeah, it was a good show. I think we had some interesting stuff. We talked a lot about China again. Hopefully, we don't talk about China again for a while until we get a larger total of, more accurate total of how much damage is actually being wrought over there. But yeah, everyone have a good night. And if you're in my part of the world, stay warm because it's getting nasty out. Winter actually finally decided to show up.
Oh wow.
But
So that groundhog lied to you, huh?
yeah, he's a lying son of a bitch. Okay.
Damn, Puxatawny Phil.
I know. Puxatawny. Did you guys see the Super Bowl ad where Bill Murray was rehashing his Groundhog Day character?
Yeah,
That
that was
funny.
good.
Yeah, it was funny. Amongst all the
Jeep,
other crap.
driving the Jeep around.
Yeah. It was funny. Anyway, Booster. Go ahead and namaste us out of here, man.
Alrighty, boys. Well, thank you for everyone for coming onto the show and all of that. And what are we doing tomorrow? It's the Bugbear's Basement then, and then it's the Fanspeak, and then it's our Drawn and Quoted, where we're doing a Valentine's theme, which is bad girls. So we're going to get the guys to draw whatever bad ladies they want. So lots of sexy ladies, lots of sexiness and all of that.
I hope someone
I thought
does
it was
Hillary
Sugar Let's
Clinton.
be next week.
And then
No, that's the week after.
No,
No, that's 2
Oh,
weeks
you
from
guys
now.
are-
No.
Guys are just teasing me.
we're just
Yeah.
teasing you, and I don't know, not the next day because that's my birthday. The week after, I might start doing my own show, Booster's very own show, where I just play whatever video games I feel like, and
Yeah.
I talk a bunch of shit. So
You
if
should
you're not
do that.
subscribed to Booster Kiwi, you should do that because the content-free guarantee was always a lie from the very beginning, just to get attention. Because that's what I
Fapping
do.
with Booster.
And,
Well, oh my God! But do keep in mind, the Bad Girls won. Once again, I vote for Hillary Clinton. The week after that is Dropkicks and Dragons, and then the week after that is Little Girl Lethal.
That's right. And for today's quote, I thought I'd get a bit of Friedrich Nietzsche.
Uh-oh.
To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. Namaste.
Namaste, I guess.
That's a brilliant quote. Score.
Namaste.
Later, everybody.
Aloha.